Hello everyone, I'm Kathryn and today we're talking about Belgium. Last year I made a video called The Good, the Bad, and the Strange and how Belgium changed me after living there for 1 year, and this is the update video because, can you believe it, I have been here for over 2 years now. Blows my mind. So in that time, some things have changed, other things haven't. We'll start with the things that haven't. I still hate the weather in Belgium. There is an update to that. Because it's not necessarily that the weather is just bad. One thing that for me is particularly terrifying is that we get hail. And I come from Pennsylvania, and whenever we get hail, that means you need to go and check the weather because more likely than not, you're gonna have a tornado. And what makes it horrible is that whenever there's hail, there's always all this wind. And this always occurs when Prince Charming isn't at home. And I don't even know what channel to go to or what website I can look at to see if there's a tornado and I need to be worried about dying. Even though I don't think Belgium is known for tornadoes or gets tornadoes. We get hail, but we've never had a tornado. But oh, that reaction is ingrained in me, and whenever I see hail and all the wind, there's this part of me that just freaks out, and then nothing happens, but that terror just lived inside me, and it's I hate the weather. Second up is language. There's a strange thing when it comes to languages in Belgium, and I've mentioned this before, that Belgians are multilingual. 80% of Flemish-speaking Belgians know a second language, so that's all of them. And then 50% speak a third language. So again, the majority of Flemish-speaking Belgians speak 3 languages. While that's great, I would say it does create an environment that if you live in Belgium and you don't speak at least 2 languages, you get crap. I experienced this when Prince Charming and I went on the champagne weekend with his work. And I was so happy for 5 whole seconds because I thought, oh, this is going to be a great opportunity for me to work on my Dutch. But then I had this terror in my mind, oh crap, all the tours are going to also be in Dutch. And I think I was at level 3 or level 4 at the time, and my Dutch just was not good enough to listen to a tour and understand it, and I was freaking out. Prince Charming was like, we're not gonna have the tours in Dutch, they'll be in French. My mind was like, well, what? But you're tourists. When you're a tourist, you go to other countries and they speak your language. And he said, no, we're Belgian. And sure enough, we went to France and they did all the tours in French. And there was one girl in the group who did not speak French at all. I wouldn't say that the people were being malicious and mean with her, but they were sort of teasing her on the fact that she didn't speak French because everybody else in the group spoke French. And it's a great thing, but it's also sort of I feel bad to some extent because people, when they find out that I speak English, French, and now Dutch, they act really happy and surprised, and they're like, oh wow, that's an amazing accomplishment. But if you had a Belgian in the room who spoke, we'll say 5 languages, nobody would care because they're Belgian, and that's sort of expected of you. And so it's sort of this mixed feeling that I feel bad that Belgians don't get the appreciation that they deserve for working so hard on languages. And finally, the third, I'm still completely in love with Belgium. There's this part of me that's waiting for the proverbial shoe to drop and for me to just discover something I don't like. It hasn't happened yet. And what's sort of funny is there's all these negative stereotypes about Belgium. For example, Belgians sort of aren't known for having great food. They have this thing called stamppot, which is the greatest thing ever. It is mashed potatoes with Brussels sprouts and a sausage. It is delicious. I love it. It's comfort food, and that's what I love about it. It sort of reminds me of being at home while also not being at home because sometimes it's just weird combinations. Something that they do in Belgium is applesauce, sauteed potatoes, and a sausage. It's delicious. We're missing out in America, but it's weird. And then there's also negative stereotypes when it comes to the people, like Belgians are supposed to be really closed off and distant. I mean, objectively, I can agree with that. As an American, like, yeah, Belgians are closed off and distant. But I would say, like, as an American, pretty much everybody I've ever met comparably is closed off and distant. But if you take the Belgians and compare them to, say, the French, Belgians are an open book compared to most French people. I find that all really interesting. But the number one negative stereotype that I've heard about is that West Flanders specifically is supposed to be where all the really rude, uncivilized people in Belgium live. And it makes me laugh because these people who live in West Flanders are supposed to be like the rude, uncivilized people. How polite do they get? Because at least from my standards, the people in West Flanders are some of the most helpful, most polite people I've ever met in my life. So I can't even begin to imagine, like, just if this is what is considered rude, like what is considered polite, because for me, like, the bar is already up here. Like, how much higher does it get? It's been 2 years, guys. Like, I can't even begin. I really like Belgium. Can't wait to make another video next year about how my perspective has changed. That's what I have for you guys today. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, and I will see you guys in the next one. Tootsies, may applesines. I'm constantly complaining to Prince Charming about how it's always cloudy and it's raining. He's living in denial, but I kid you not, there was an article that was printed in our newspaper that said over the course of 11 days, we had exactly 38 minutes of sunshine, and that's it.